Well, if Chris Brown's going to join us eventually here, but that would be a Chris Brown approved beat.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. I have to
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. There's a it was kind of a change things up a little bit for the awards, which we'll get to later because right now we have playoff baseball to discuss. I'm Rahel Gasol, is Brandon Day, and Chris Brown should be along with us shortly. As thank you for everybody who's tuned in the last 2 nights doing the game streaming. A lot more popular than I thought it was going to be, only because we haven't done anything like that before. But it can be frustrating when you're watching the game and you're throwing hats around. I may have thrown my hat around or two or three or four or five times throughout the night as the offense was frustrating. I mean, right now the Dodgers right now and Phillies getting a little interesting now. There's a challenge going on at the bottom of the ninth. Dodgers
Big
up 4-3.
we'll say stick. Big stick Nick just came through with a 2-run double. We'll see if somebody got thrown out here or not. But yeah, bottom of the ninth, 4-1 Dodgers, now 4-3. Phillies not quite done yet here, but they need to win this one very badly. I don't really have a horse in that one though. I guess I prefer the Phillies just because Dodgers, but whatever.
You want the Dodgers? You said or Phillies? You said
Nah,
Phillies.
I think I tilt slightly
Safe.
Phillies. Oh yeah. Oh, it's on. Getting interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody's calling the Dodgers the evil empire and all that, but guys like Teoscar Hernandez and Kiki Hernandez are getting it done for them. So it's not all the big names, but
Yeah, but they're still, it's still just grotesque.
yeah, it is grotesque.
It's
Yeah,
not necessarily their fault. It's just the unfortunate state of the game and the two big media markets, kind of blocking up the works toward any progress toward something more like a floor and cap type situation which would kind of balance things out. So plus they've won two. Kershaw won his ring. I have no more rooting interest. Otani got one. I'm like, I'm done with y'all. Clarity.
no,
I mean, if it's not the Tigers, I'm kind of rooting like Brewers and then probably Mariners. I wouldn't hate the Cubs, but I don't know. All my like Cubs sympathies died when they won a World Series finally, so I'm kind of over it.
yeah,
With that.
same here. Like I was over the Cubs when they won. It was and immediately because Cubs fans became
Oh yeah.
like Boston fans did.
Yep.
The just obnoxiousness of it all. It was just driving me nuts, and
I,
so
I, I've probably told this story, but I had this sympathy for them, just because like growing up in the '80s, that was all you could see was them and maybe the Braves on TNT when that came out. But so I did watch a lot of Rhino, and I remember Andre Dawson and those dudes. So I had a little bit of sympathy there. And back then we never played them anyway, so it didn't, they weren't even relevant. So and then came the Bartman game, and I was at a Mars Volta concert at the Riviera in Chicago, and my buddy who was supposed to go with me on our way there got a call from his sister that she had an extra ticket to the playoff game, so he bailed on me. He goes to the concert, and I have a great time. I'm like fine by myself. Mars Volta absolutely just slays for 2.5 hours. I'm drenched in sweat.
it was it when they toured. That's when they toured without a solo, without an opening act, right?
Yeah, there was no opening act,
Yeah,
but
I've seen
if
that. I've
there
seen them
was,
on
I missed it anyway. Yeah.
Fillmore. Yeah,
Yeah, so it was a long show. I mean, they just tore
yeah.
the place apart, and then so I get back out, I get my directions. I'm on the train heading back down toward Wrigleyville, and all I see is all these Cubs fans walking down the street, just like a mob of the most depressed, miserable folks I've ever seen. And I kind of asked somebody, I was like, "Oh, the Cubs lose," and he kind of like. This dude just was like, oh, you'd never believe what would happen to you. Like, this dude reached over, he's like going on and on, tells me the whole story. And yeah, so at that point, I was just sort of like, huh, the Cubs really are cursed. And so, yeah, I was happy to see him win the one, but it's over now. Sorry.
Yeah,
I lived outside Chicago for a while, lived downtown one summer. So maybe I don't hate Chicago as much as the average Detroit Tigers fan does. Although the Southsiders, the Sox, I do have some bad intent toward.
No, I see. I don't mind the White Sox fans because I think the podcast on the podcast scene, the White Sox fans are pretty
Yeah.
cool. So but the thing is that when after I watched that 30 for 30 on the Steve Bartman and see how rabid, obsessed the Cubs fans were to the point they were probably going to kill him that night. Literally
Yeah.
thought that. I
It
was
was
like,
bad.
that.
Real bad.
Yeah, it was really really bad. I couldn't bring myself to just do the oh shucks, the go Cubs go, like that, the whole
Yeah.
song,
It's like, it's
everything.
like,
Like,
yeah, settle down. Good Lord. What up, Adam Ripley? How's it going?
yeah, and I'm not wearing a Seawolves shirt. My Seawolves shirt I got yesterday, I was wearing it the last couple days because
I should have a Seawolves McGonagall jersey on tonight for his debut.
yes, and that will be happening at the bottom of the hour, 9:30, as the Arizona Fall League starts up tonight
And his
with
absolute assault on these poor
yeah,
guys who are just there trying to get some extra innings. Oh, by the way, you get to face Kevin McGonagall. Good luck.
and Max Anderson. I mean,
And
Max,
Max Anderson,
yeah.
no slouch at all.
I was doing a AFL history piece for Tiger Minor Report, so you can find that, and also Chris's preview on the website. And I was looking up prior to 2004 just to kind of get a good gauge. Like Robert Fick, you have whatchamacallit. Ooh, nice choice there. You had also Eric Munson was there, Chris Woodward, or is it Mark Wainward, whatever that guy was.
Mm.
That was like a prospect for a minute, and then it was just a whole wasteland of guys. And then Curtis Granderson was also there at one
Oh
point.
yeah.
But it was interesting to see how many, roughly about 133 guys since 2004
Hmm.
that have been like you put 6 or 7 per time. But the Arizona Fall League, what I love about Baseball Cube is how far it can go back,
Oh
and
yeah.
you get the stats from that, and so you're looking at that. But imagine if they had TV. Oh, should be covered for that. Oh, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, we would love it. Yeah.
Right.
Nobody else would have watched it.
Yeah, no. You're right. Nobody. Yeah,
the,
just
the
maybe.
the big time prospect hounding, for me seems like it started like right after Trout. It was like right after like Harper and Trout kind of burst through where people started going, a little more like in depth and thinking about it more and thinking about their draft picks more. We were just isolated from that through the ways and means of one David Q. Dombrowski. So we were on a different pathway in those days. But yeah, it really hasn't been that big of a deal for that long, but it definitely is now. And it has been nice to see the league kind of leaning into it. I mean, they're juicing it to some degree too, but putting together the futures games and all that kind of stuff has been cool. Just showing a little bit more love and also kind of getting those guys a little more used to the attention rather than just like, playing in front of 2,000 people, in the middle of nowhere. No
Or
offense.
maybe it just seems like there's less than that. Maybe
No
like
offense, Peoria Chiefs.
I was gonna say. I mean, yeah, or like
Yeah.
in this case, what in front of like 15 people and most of them scouts mainly.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's been cool just to see the growth in it, and obviously really good timing for you guys and for us too, because
Yeah,
God knows there wasn't a whole lot to talk about with the Tigers until about a year and a half ago,
yeah,
other than the farm system and developing guys. So
yeah. Although I went on TikTok today because I was uploading a video for TikTok and somebody was saying, Scott Harris sucks. At all he cares about is winning minor league manager or minor league championships, and the whole
yeah,
front office sucks.
he
Which
stuffed all these rosters with old guys like
yeah,
Joe Miller.
but it was funny. He goes, "It doesn't matter." Somebody posted like, "It doesn't matter they win the playoffs 2 seasons in a row." I'm like, that doesn't make.
Well,
The internet is the internet, Brandon.
I mean,
I've learned not to try to argue
I
with
mean,
you.
I think they're kind of right as far if you only care about the Tigers like right now. I mean, that's fine. If that's your perspective, then yes, it doesn't matter. But anybody watching the farm, anybody thinking a little more long term, anybody who's just an Erie Seawolves fan, all the players, there's plenty of people who care.
Yeah, I mean, but I look at it this way. I look at we'll talk about let's go into the Cleveland series here for a second.
Yeah,
You look at the tale of two teams, and something that Chris put in perspective for all of us that I really started thinking about it, and it makes a lot of sense. Here's a Cleveland team that doesn't spend at all, does not spend, and they have their farm system, and they're okay with just getting to the playoffs and that. I mean, do they even do anything creatively at the trade deadline? No. Do I think the Tigers are building towards what Cleveland's trying to do? Yes. Do I think the Tigers are going to spend a little more? That is the variable that I don't know for sure because
I'll say yes,
yeah,
but it's not going to be crazily
yeah,
beyond. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and you look at
That's fair.
Cleveland, and it was something I didn't realize. Like Chris pointed out, chased the water out of desperation. I mean, a lot of these guys were out of desperation. I mean,
Yeah,
Petey, what's his face? I always forget his last name. Is it Howley or Howlett? They're the outfielders. Some of the outfielders that
yeah,
Cleveland called up was just out of desperation. And I
yeah. They
mean,
just didn't have anybody. Yeah,
yeah. And so you look at the tail of two teams there where the Tigers finally got over the hump a little bit. But then They go to the Seattle series, first game. You knew they had to split it, so I was content with that.
Yeah.
However, I did not expect the game one victory. Did you
Yeah.
expect the game one victory, or did you expect the victory in game two, like everybody else did?
Yeah, I mean, I would. I mean, if I was gonna, if you told me they were gonna win one, definitely would have said game two. You learn real quickly once again, as always. Like we have to write stuff, but you can't predict what's gonna happen. Like the postseason is just such an absolute machine of chaos that anything could happen. I thought Melton would probably pitch decently well, but I kind of had a feeling he was going to give up like two bombs. Hopefully solo shots, and he gave up one, and that was fine,
Yeah,
and pitched pretty well. But yeah, I mean, you look at both games, and it's they've both been really scrappy, low-scoring games. As frustrated as we are with the Tigers' offense, the Mariners are losing their mind because they came in hot from their perspective. They had one of their best months of the season in September, and so they expected to come in here and no doubt put up more runs than they have. But I mean, the Tigers have pitched them pretty well, and you see. The Tigers are getting bit by this really bad because I think what the Tigers have, I think 9 walks in 2 games,
yeah,
and the Mariners have 3. The Tigers are doing a pretty good job of being patient and taking their walks. They're getting almost nothing to hit. Like they're like even more than the Tigers, the Mariners are committed to just junk balling you to death. And you're not going to see a fastball middle. You're going to see
yeah,
it like they might not even throw one for a strike against you. If they worry about you at all. So they're going to have to lay off even harder. And of course, Alex Tosi's strike zone in the first game was like one of the worst
oh my
of the
god,
entire
terrible.
season.
Yeah,
So, I mean, there's just not that much you can do in that situation. So we're all, looking for signs that the Tigers' offense is going to break out. That Riley's going to start doing some damage, that Torque is going to start doing some damage. Like we need these things to happen. Tigers are not going to go very far or much farther unless somebody starts putting it in the seats a little bit more. But I don't know. It's hard to know that if they're doing better, if they're coming around because it's the postseason and everything is just different anyway. Like you don't expect to score 7 or 8 runs. The Blue Jays bombed on the Yankees twice, but that doesn't necessarily normally happen. And I certainly wouldn't have predicted that New York's pitching staff would get hit that badly. Not
yeah,
by
and that's
not by the Blue Jays.
well,
Even Bichette. They don't even have Bichette right now. So
no, but then guys like Ernie Clement who are kind of like all or nothing guys, but I mean,
yeah,
they really were just no spot. I mean, look, Buck Martinez said the Yankees weren't shit, and he was right, and he's been right. I mean, like
yeah.
I hate to say it that way, but it is. But looking at like one particular pitcher yesterday for Seattle, you're talking about with giving him nothing to hit was Matt Brash,
Yeah.
slider. Nothing. No, I don't think he threw one fastball yesterday.
I think there literally was one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that
In,
was a
in
prime
two,
example of
two
that.
games worth of appearances. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you look at meanwhile in the Yankee series though with the Blue Jays with Trey Savage, that was going to be an advantage. I knew that was going to be one of those things where because of course the Yankees do have farm system data because the Yankees
Mhm.
there's Tampa, there's Buffalo,
Sure.
and then in Double A as well. So the affiliations are there. Whereas something else that Chris pointed out, and then give him credit here, Troy Melton, Seattle, no relation.
Yeah.
I think that paid off for the Tigers in Game One.
Yeah. And I mean, nowadays you can scout anybody who's pitched at AAA really well. Like they can put together a pretty comprehensive scouting report on what a
Right.
certain guy does, but it is just different if you haven't seen him. I like Melton's got that deep fold. It's coming out like right here.
Yeah.
It's not that easy to pick up. And then, yeah, I mean, Yasavage is just like a different thing entirely because he's so over the top and you just don't see that arm slot that often. And
Yeah.
then, like, that's, like, I can't really tell myself. I don't know. I saw Pitching Ninja talking about it. Shout out Pitching Ninja. But talking about the slider and how, like, when he touches it off the middle finger, like, it gets away from him it should be a backup slider from almost anybody else. But because of that arm slot, it's turning it into just like another, like, almost screwballish looking breaking ball. It looks like the splitter. So I mean, he's just a weird guy, in general, and tough to deal with. And if you haven't seen him before, there isn't a whole lot that they can do. I mean, they can set you up and show you the arm slot with the new pitching machines they've got, and I'm sure the Yankees probably have the state of the art type stuff there. You would assume, but it's just different than seeing that delivery and that absolute weirdo stuff coming at you. So yeah, they got carved. we've talked about the Yankees as a development organization and like how good they are with like analytics and advanced scouting and game planning, and never really had that much respect for them considering the amount of resources they have. And it still seems to show up sometimes in the playoffs. Like, the Tigers and the Mariners too go out there with like, fairly simple but very straightforward game plans for their pitchers, and they work. The Mariners haven't been held down in two games like this, very often. Obviously, we have School Bowl, so that's a big part of it. Shout out to freaking ex-twin Jorge Polanco.
Of course, it's going to be Jorge Polanco.
Absolute nonsense. But yeah, I mean, you can feel pretty good that like in these situations, the Tigers, AJ Hinch, Chris Vetter, like these guys know how to pitch in the postseason. They know how to use guys' aggression against them. You know, whether or not the Tigers have the horses is probably going to just come down to whether or not anybody could freaking get hot at the plate somewhere. I can't really think of anybody who's really having like a really good series. Like Kerry Carpenter has the homer. Javi keeps putting the ball in play a lot and has struck out once in the postseason, which is kind of funny, and has had the best approach. Glaber's had a couple hits, Tork's had a couple hits, Green's had a couple hits, but nobody's driving the baseball. So yeah, so that's gonna have to turn around. And Logan Gilbert isn't necessarily that easy a guy to turn it around against, but the Tigers do have a lot of hitters who have a good track record against him, even though it's obviously small samples, like they've faced him 2 or 3 times, but they have hit him. Yeah. Riley's hit him, Glaber's hit him, Carey's hit him to some degree. So
yeah, and it's also helped too and what's helped too is that they drove the pitch count on the bullpen and Luis Castillo, and that was a good sign yesterday. Castillo. Because someone's asked us during the live stream, what makes Luis Castillo so successful? And here's a simple solution: when his splitter and his slider is good, that makes everything else fine. It sets up his fastball really well. Because to me, when he throws a splitter and slider, he gets that change. It's a change, right? Like
I think it is just I think it's a circle with him. That arm slot because he's low.
But he's the way he can change the eye levels on that, and it's the same sequence every time. So if you're sitting fastball and you get that change up low and away especially on the lefty, you're done for. And his K/9 has gone down every year, but Castillo is a veteran guy who can throw what seems to be like an infinite 5 or 6 pitch mix that allows him to keep hitters off balance. And I think that was the big thing yesterday, Brandon, is that, and he's a guy too that if you don't get to him early, as he settles in, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, he does have a good slider. The changeup is like used to be a really big weapon for him, and now it's less often that good. He did throw some good ones. But it's just strangely enough, it's just the 2 and 4 seam mix. Like he uses both of them a lot. He's up in the zone. And the Tigers like the ball down in the zone, other than Carey and, maybe the occasional like Javi climbing the ladder tomahawk job or something. They don't go up there that well. And, they got a lot of fastballs that from him at least that were, hittable, but, he's changing the movement profile on all of them. He's dropping his arm slot and then raising it. He's just funky. He is a veteran. And despite the fact that he has the extension of a tiny person, and only he's like 5'4", whereas Logan Gilbert is like 6'8", and Melton I think I think Gilbert is 7'8", and Melton's over 7. So there's some long striders as well. But yeah, I mean you wouldn't think Castillo could do that to them if they were hot with the fastball the way he did, but he did, and because you're just not seeing that much to hit, and the Tigers aren't going that good when they did get those fastballs that were up, just foul tipping them, hitting a lot of lazy fly balls. And Castillo, that's kind of his bag, is to get a lot of routine fly balls. You never can advance on the bases. He forces you to play station to station. And unless you launch something out, it's just hard to put up a lot of runs against him. And they just did not square him up much.
Yeah, and I think that's what was the frustrating part about. I mean, yesterday the Tigers only had 1 for 4 for runners in scoring position, but the opportunities were few and far in between.
Yeah,
despite the walks too. But it was, Seattle uncharacteristic. Seattle yesterday with that, was that the game one with the hick? No, it was yesterday. The error.
Oh yeah.
The defense, Naylor, who by the way did not travel with the team. He is expecting a baby in the next couple days or so. So that
Who is his wife?
Who's his wife?
Is it Chanda? I don't know. Some fairly famous Hispanic musical artist. Who is this woman?
Oh,
That just kind
Chantel.
of blew my mind.
Are you talking about Chantel?
Yes, I think that is it. Because you look at Josh Naylor and you just he doesn't look like he's going to be the guy, but apparently he is that dog. So
Oh,
good
no,
for him.
Chantel. You know why? It's because he's Canadian. And he's got those eyes. So, I don't know. He's like a
He does have those mesmerizing Julio Rodriguez eyes.
yeah. He's Canadian. So she's Canadian too. So that there you go. I mean,
Oh, is he? Yeah,
yeah, she's
Chantel.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, she's oh well,
Oh,
there
I'm
you
sure.
go.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. But
But
uh, Josh Naylor not the guy that scares you in that lineup, but because of his history with the with the Guardians, he does scare you a little bit. So that's just fine. Maybe Luke Rayleigh plays.
yeah, Luke Rayleigh kind of reminds me of what was it former Oriole great God Luke Rayleigh. I'm trying to think of the guy's name that was not Brady Anderson, but they had like a Luke like with the sideburns and all that. I just can't draw a blank.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't.
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm looking at too many things. The Cubs are
Luke
up.
Scott, thank you.
Thank you.
Tigers at UK.
There
Tigers,
you go.
yeah, thank you. Luke Scott, thank you, Jed. That was a good flashback there. And by the way,
Oh, Jed rolls in with Luke
yeah,
Scott.
yeah,
Excellent.
yeah, excellent. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Jed brought up earlier that they're going to be waving the orange flag, orange towels tomorrow down at Comerica Park, which led me to think that like the Tigers could easily use I don't know, a third jersey in orange.
The Orange City Connects, are those going to come in?
Yeah, I like that idea a lot. Like
It would make more sense than the Blues. Like it was
yeah,
fun. It was fun for a minute. I guess it seems like the fan base likes them because they do seem to have sold a lot of them. Like they like to wear them, out and about more. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just not a big fan. So yeah, I was joking though. Yeah, like orange. You just don't think. I don't think orange first of all. Like when I think of the Tigers, and maybe I should, but they've never leaned into the orange until the pizza coloration on the bullpens out there. You've never really seen that much of that. So
no, and
yeah,
I think they should though because I mean if you look at some of the even the '80s jerseys had the orange piping on
yeah,
the
there
away
used to be
jerseys,
more. Yeah, it
and
was way more prominent. Yeah,
yeah,
back in the day, for
yeah,
sure.
and they even had their I think it was a spring training jersey or something like that that was like I've seen it in Cooperstown collection that orange
Hmm.
kind of like tearaway jersey that they had in the spring training, but yeah, there's also the new stadium possible. Like there's little things to talk about too. The Comerica Park or Comerica was just bought out by Fifth Third, which
Yeah,
kind of let me crack me up because I was like, what? So Fifth Third, like Tiger
yeah,
Stadium brought to you by Fifth Third Field,
yeah.
Fifth Third Field or something like that. Because
Yeah, we've had Fifth Third Field in West Michigan. We've had Fifth Third Ballpark in Toledo.
yeah,
West Michigan, obviously now LMCU, but yeah, so they can't use that. I was joking. Just call it Tiger Stadium again, you idiot. But maybe
yeah,
like Tigers Park. Um,
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe you could name it after Al Kaline. I don't know,
yeah,
something.
something.
But I don't. But I do not want Fifth Third. I don't know,
You
Fifth
know the
Third Stadium or something.
yeah, but
Somebody
you know
else.
corporate tourism is going to end there, Brandon. I
Oh,
mean,
I know. It's not like somebody suggested. It'll probably end up being like Olympia will end up buying it.
yeah,
Buying the naming rights or something. But I guess the
Uber.
naming rights don't expire for until 2029.
Yeah. All right. You know what you could do is call it the Coliseum. The
Oh, yeah,
Olympia Coliseum. I mean, like if you're gonna
yeah,
lean into it a little bit, look, the old barn, all the hot was it the Olympia?
yeah. The Olympia. Yep.
Yeah, that when the Red Wings played down off Grand River. Look, if you're gonna
Just an
bring,
absolute, just like the how to even explain it. I mean, it was like worse than Wrigley Field in terms of just being like filthy and nasty in there, and it was perfect. I remember as a kid.
oh really? You went to Olympia? Oh, you went to
Yeah,
Olympia? I never got a chance to go. It
I'm
was
old, baby.
well, it was closed. It was closed. It was I think it was I don't. When was it torn down?
I don't think I saw. I mean, I have to say, I don't think I saw the Red Wings there. I can't even remember. I just remember the building. So
Okay.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think the
because
Wings were already in Joe Louis by then.
yeah, but Joe Louis to me was always kind of dirty anyway. Like he
Yeah,
was.
but it just I mean, hockey is that way. Like there should be
That's
like
true.
blood and teeth on the ground
It
and
smell and the smell of
sticky.
sweat, like the sweat off the gear. When I used to call hockey games for Livonia Stevenson, the smell of sweat in a jersey in a hockey jersey permanently sticks with you no matter where you go. You get it's just that gear equipment always have that same stench, and
Yeah.
immediately it never changes. But no, it's you know I think. Well, here's Chris. What's up?
Yo.
Hey, what's happened? Sorry, yeah. turned out that I was confusing the broadcast with the AFL game.
The AFL game, yeah, the AFL is about to start here. But
It's
the
just
Phillies.
started.
Okay, so you know what? Let's. Is that on MLB.com or where's that at? So I
I
can.
I don't know if it's streaming at all. I'm checking right now.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Seiya Suzuki hit a 3-run homer, and the Cubs are up early over the Brewers.
Homers are so big in the playoffs, man.
Yep, we were just talking about it. Like the Tigers, it's not like the Tigers' approach has been terrible in the postseason, but somebody's got to run into the baseball a little bit more often here. We're going to be in trouble, I'm afraid.
Do you guys think this is?
I think the Mariners have been kind of cold. Maybe that's
Yeah.
that's the thing that's scaring me is that they sat for a week, and like if they get to swing the bats for a few more games, it's probably not going to favor us as far as the trajectory of the series.
By the way, why does Kevin McGonigal look like he just ate something and then his face swelled up? Is this AI? Do you
I
think?
know it's Kevin Beef.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be.
Old Beef Part 2.
Yeah, it could be that Arizona beefening that we saw with Colt Keith. I don't know. Yep, there is a stream.
Okay.
Down there eating 5 berry tacos every 4 hours.
Pierre, yeah, at Scottsdale. It's right behind home plate. But yeah, I don't know. Like the Phillies, I feel that team. It seems like they have such a great offense, right? And then yet still they couldn't do anything until the very end of the game. And then when it was super important, they couldn't get the guy home from second.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, we were kind of contrasting that with the Yankees and how the Yankees just sometimes seem to just get blown up more than you would ever expect with the pitchers that they have in the postseason, and how it kind of speaks to, like Hinch, Fetter, like those guys, kind of being on the level of, like the Dodgers usually are, like where they're just like they know how to pitch everybody. The game planning is so good that even if your guy isn't throwing that well, you can usually get through a game without giving much more than 3 or 4 runs. So, yeah, the Yankees just still don't seem to have some of those principles down. Of course, all their bullpen trades other than Bednar did not go well.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like Toronto scares the hell out of me right now.
Yeah,
they 8 home runs in 2 games.
Yeah,
and some of those, I mean, they bombed up on Max Fried.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously, you want the Tigers to win. You want them to win as much as possible, but a date with Toronto might be a little bit tough, particularly when all those Canucks come and
oh God,
invade Fifth Third Ballpark.
at
Fifth Third
Comerica
Stadium.
Yeah. Oh yes, Fifth Third Stadium. Stupid name.
Yeah, so stupid.
Sponsored by Olympia Entertainment, or
Yeah.
The
Slice.
Stadium.
That's what they're called. They're called the Slice. Andrew Vaughn bomb. All right.
I mean, the Blue Jays aren't even at full strength either. That's the other thing that's a little bit disturbing.
Brewers already guys. The Brewers already tied it. There we go.
Yeah. The Brewers are going to be just a nightmare. The Brewers are like everything we aspire to be.
Yep.
Small market.
Yeah. Small market, just constantly making all the right moves. Well, Scott Harris makes some right moves, but keeps kind of telling us he can get it done without, I don't know, without spending money. We'll see.
First 2 batters struck out, and then single homer. That's wild. I didn't realize the Brewers were starting Ashby.
Yeah,
I guess they don't really have a lot of starters.
It's not the what was it? The former Padres starter Andy Ashby.
Andy and Alan were the brothers, I think, or cousins. This is is it Aaron?
Yeah, Jed is correct. This is not the same Andrew Vaughn. I saw the Tigers face I don't know who this Andrew Vaughn is, but the Brewers are like unlocked.
The thing I would like to suggest to the Tigers is that they get someone from the Brewers or the Blue Jays hitting departments this year. Like, go do someone good, because the two of them do seem to teach hitting pretty well. The Brewers seem to teach everything well. The Blue Jays have had a lot of problems with pitching over the years, but there's just always some dudes popping up and hitting dingers. They don't even have Bichette right now.
So
and that's
go ahead. I was going to say McGonigal's at short. Wearing number, is that number 9? He's wearing number 9. I think
9.
Yeah, number 9.
Let's see. I don't know if it would show us on the actual. Yeah, I don't know, but that's the damnedest thing about the Tigers right now is they were a high strikeout team all year, but they've turned into like just windmills.
Yeah.
Here in the playoffs, and it's tough to win that way. Like they're walking a fair amount, but it's a 30% strikeout rate for as a team, which is like 7% above what they were doing in the regular season, and it's And we we're modern, we're evolved, we're advanced baseball fans. We know the strikeouts don't matter that much compared to other outs,
Mhm.
but we've seen, when the Tigers go 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position, it would be nice to have somebody who could put the ball in play. And the Brewers have a boatload of those guys. The Blue Jays have a boatload of those guys, and the Tigers, for whatever reason, just don't.
And the one guy that we do have that's kind of that way is, or the two of them are, it's more like Colt Keith and Wenzel Perez probably strike out the
Yeah.
lead. And, Keith just got back. Perez has been lost. Yeah, I don't know. We were kind of talking about that too, because I mean, somebody's got to heat up, but the Mariners just aren't giving him anything to hit either. Like they could have drawn a lot more walks. I mean, Alex Tosey's strike zone was atrocious. Like maybe one of the worst of the season. And the Tigers have, like you said, taken their walks and they've tried to be disciplined. But then you get one pitch to hit in at bat and they're missing it. They're following that pitch
Yeah.
off. And they're lifting a fly ball, and then they're flailing. So Parker Meadows looks terrible. Gleyber Torres looks like he's swinging like some kind of a lead pipe that just weighs more than he's used to. Like the bat speed is just not there right now. I don't know.
It does feel like they just hit a wall in September, and I don't. It's not like they weren't being overused or anything like that. I do wonder if AJ Hinch, like, he doesn't play, like, his mantra is you try to win today's game.
Yeah.
But he's not a guy who's like, forcing these guys to play every day. He does get the bench bets out there. He does give guys rest, but it's like the whole team just like, they hit mile 23 and then collapsed.
Yeah. I mean, I guess Riley and Glaber are the two guys who did play almost every day. I guess Torque too. So maybe it's telling that they all look a little gassed, but I don't know. That's the only hope. Like, you just never know when they snap out of it. Maybe it won't be till next spring, next May, or tomorrow. So we'll see. Although, Logan Gilbert is not really the guy to get right against. So
No.
He's not unhittable. They have a good track record against him. I did look all that up. I mean, it's all so small samples. I don't necessarily know what I think about matchups other than like, okay, Kerry Carpenter clearly owns George Kirby, but beyond that, I don't know. I don't know how much it matters that Riley Green and Glaber and some of these guys have a 900 OPS against him in 8 or 9 or 10 plate appearances.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you assume with Carpenter, you assume that he just, for whatever reason, he just sees the ball well. Something about it.
The intensity of the postseason focuses him.
Because we remember, there are certain players who is it Sal Perez who has Scooble's number? I mean, he has every Tigers hitter's or pitcher's number. Somebody has like really hit Scooble well.
Yeah.
And we remember guys, when Verlander was young, it was like, come on. But
Michael Kadire or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got which Montgomery is this pitching for Peoria? Peoria Javelinas.
Javelin. Oh yeah. Why is there a Peoria team in Arizona? Is there a Peoria, Arizona? I guess there might.
Yeah, there is. There's an everything Arizona.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a Goodyear.
I have an Athens and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Nick Morabito singles on a ground ball to shortstop Brandon Whitaker. Kevin McGonigal already up with a man on base.
Let's go. This is going to be fun. I mean, obviously the thing we're kind of most curious about is where he might play when he's not playing shortstop, but I mean, he should just murder these dudes. Like, it's not a fun assignment to like, I came out there to get some extra innings because I was hurt this year. Oh, here, face Kevin McGonigal a bunch of times. You get tested.
Yeah, that's what I wrote in the preview today. I was having fun with this. I called McGonigal's in garden because he's going to go to the sand and rake.
Well, oh man.
But we'll see. I mean, you never know. Like, sometimes guys actually don't hit, even though you think they will, because you get tired out there.
Yeah, well, and you had a couple weeks off, and saw the fam, maybe lost a little focus, and maybe you're working on defense specifically, and just not focused. But
yeah,
I'd be very surprised if he didn't just murk these people.
It would be funny if it's him and Alan Trammell with his his hat, gear, wet setup in the desert, and Trammell's like again, the ball again, again.
Yeah, teaching him like I want you to collect the ball by waxing on, and then
wax on, wax
on. Transfer the ball by waxing on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be all about like having McGonigal like work, maybe Rayner too, just like work with Alan Trammell and Javi Baez. Like, we get those guys all in Florida and just like working out defensively all off season. That'd be great.
Oh yeah, just like one massive like ninja unit. By the way, I like this orange Look at what he's rocking here with the orange.
That's not bad.
sleeve.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, elbow pad. Oh, that's a called strict. All right, now runner in score position.
Whoa, just a bit high, but
Yeah.
yeah, Morabito steals second, and the catcher throws it to the center fielder instead of the infielder. But that's all right.
I don't like this camera angle.
No, it's. I mean, this is the San Francisco Giants spring training home, and they don't have Statcast. Well, maybe they do have Statcast now. We're getting velocities here. I looked at last year's and it wasn't there, but yeah, this is sometimes these spring training facilities aren't all great. And look at McGonigal has gone from 0-2 to 3-2.
Yeah, because that's what he does.
Do you know? Classic McGonigal. Let's see.
So speaking of the so once we'll just bat here, we'll do the awards here in a second. It was interesting, by the way. I was telling Brandon about this that Ashley voted for Andrew Graham as manager of the year.
Interesting.
So we'll announce who voted for who.
There was a lot of good. I mean, it was a lot of good options. They pretty much all did really well. I did think about Graham a little bit, but I was pretty locked in.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. Yeah, there's no Statcast, but we have exit velos and pitch velo.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So no spin rates.
No induced vertical break.
But you guys notice that there's no even a count on the screen here. There's no count up at all.
Yeah, no, this is. It's not the best.
I mean, it's bargain. Bargain basement. I wonder who's doing the broadcast. I didn't look.
What do we have? I thought we had a pitch timeout, but it was the catcher calling. Like I feel like we're watching like on the side of a boat. The screen is tilted a little bit.
Yeah, we're like the guys like who are staggering out of a bar and like looking in through the bars out beyond center field. Like, oh, is that Kevin McGonigal? Hey man, this guy's gonna be good.
Yeah, follow it back.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, these are actually a decent crowd on hand for Arizona Fall League opener. We're talking about making fun of the fact that there barely anybody shows up outside the scouts.
And an automatic walk for McGonigal.
Yep.
We've got
the pageantry of the minor league.
Catch the excitement.
Yeah.
Is Max Anderson after him?
Yep.
Okay. So all right, we'll tune back into that here shortly. But
we too we talked a bunch about Tigers and a little bit about the Cubs and the Yankees and the Blue Jays and Comerica Park maybe getting renamed in a few years now that Fifth Third owns it. That pretty much catches you up.
Yeah. So
we've also desperately begged the Tigers for somebody to get hot and start hitting some dangers.
Yeah,
they're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, it sure would be nice if they could win tomorrow. I'd feel a lot better about. I mean, obviously, winning games is good. You win tomorrow, you know that you have Scooble going at least one more time, and you've got two chances to.
Dan Wilson has pushed the bullpen there, pretty hard. The first two games too. Yep. They did see just about everybody you want to see. So if they can get Gilbert out of there, in 5 or something, that would certainly help and keep leaning on their bullpen. But yeah, somebody's gonna have to do damage.
And that's what I will give the Tigers hitters credit. We talked about them, taking walks. They worked. They had Castillo at 50 pitches after 2 innings. I think they were really making them work.
We had the gritty Tigers, just not the good Tigers.
Yeah. They're gritty, but not so much hitty.
Yeah.
Not so much hitty.
I had such a feeling that Parker was going to run into one, and just still looking pretty lost out there. A lot of disjointed looking swings and caught between on everything still.
Yeah.
So we will start with the best infielder of the voted by the votes and how that went down. So Jerry voted for best infielder for first place was Isaac Pacheco in his eyes. So Colin went with Kevin McGonigal. You, Chris, went with Kevin McGonigal. Joe went with Kevin McGonigal. Ashley went with Edward Valencia. And I went with, I know I was probably for first place. I went with John Peck because Peck, McGonigal, I was looking at defensive numbers followed by Pacheco for that. So obviously McGonigal wins best infielder of the year award based off the votes there. I went a little bit off the grid there with that. I thought that, I just wanted to make it kind of different.
I mean, it is kind of like the award where you could say like the best infielder who is not Kevin McGonigal, and it would be a little bit more, competitive. Because I mean, I don't really know how I could go any other way. I mean, he's whatever you feel like Connor Griffin, he's arguably the best prospect in baseball. So, but yeah, I think like Peck made a pretty good case, and Isaac Pacheco made a pretty good case as well. Like Peck, I didn't really pay that much attention to, even last year, and yeah, I've been fairly impressed. Like he's got a shot. You could go Max Anderson certainly too, but yeah, I got to go McGonigal.
Yeah.
They had a lot of good performances from infielders this year. Like even some of the guys we thought might compete in this, like Hao Lee. He did not have a great season, and nor did Jace Young, although I guess he's not technically a prospect anymore. But yeah, I sent, I think, like my top three with everyone, and I had McGonigal, Pacheco, and Peck.
Yeah.
It does feel like I do wonder, like we knew that McGonigal was going to win, a pretty hefty award here. So it was like, well, do we want to give multiple awards to the same players? But ultimately, yeah, he plays the infield and he is a very good hitter, and so infielder of the year.
Yeah.
So next up is the outfielder of the year. So for Jerry, you went first place. We actually went with Trey Cruz. Trey Cruz, Jackson Strong, and Chris Rodriguez for Jerry. Chris went Max Clark, Jackson Strong, and Chris Rodriguez for his top three outfield. Joe went with Clark and Strong. Ashley went with Strong, Stevenson, and Clark. And myself, I went with Clark. Clark, Cruz, and Strong. That was my three. So Max Clark wins the Outfielder of the Year award for that. So no surprise there, Brandon. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I'm going to go Max Clark. I think I would kind of favor Seth Stevenson, just for, I mean, there's always the like, okay, prospect versus what he did for his teams this year. But yeah, I think I'll take Seth and Jackson Strong, and I'm going to be hopeful for Mr. Callahan next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really thought Callahan would be here on the AFL, but I don't know.
I love Trey Cruz too. That's a pretty good pick. He's just he's a little old to be a prospect. That's all. So.
Yeah, and I think what for me, I think I looked and I think Cruz played more games in the infield than the outfield this year. So I was like, I mean, he's considered. I would consider him kind of like a super utility guy now, but I mean, he had a really good year too, and it was like I couldn't figure out a place to put him, unfortunately.
Yeah, Seaver King just lined into a double play, and who was it? Oh, Cam Collier lined out to Cam Collier, who picked McGonigal off at third for a double play.
That's a toughie. Yeah, McGonigal walked. Max Anderson struck out. Walker Grjanik, I believe, hit a home or a double, but 1-0. We'll see if any Tigers pitchers get into this game later. But yeah, Max Clark. It is odd, he was the super high profile guy, and the top prospect, and he kind of just got passed by Kevin McGonigal, and so he somehow I think has become a little bit underrated. If McGonigal didn't exist, you got Max Clark with a 148 WRC plus as a 20-year-old, with more walks than strikeouts, hitting 270, decent power, decent speed,
and maybe we contributed
he's a top
to
10
that
prospect.
Yeah, because I mean, we did have some Clark concerns coming into this year, but he largely addressed them. He did hit lefties a little better, and he finally started getting to the power again after he settled in at the level. He did kind of, he kind of burnt out a little bit late in the year. He may have just been a little gas, but all in all, yeah, a really, really good year for him. And like most of my little caveats that I had about him that I don't have about McGonigal, he pretty much answered. I also thought he played a lot better defensively this year too. It's not like he's not always good. It's just that, last year I saw him get turned around a lot more and, take some funny routes. And there was a lot less of that this year, I thought. So,
yeah. Next up is the best hitter. And this goes pretty much across the board. Jerry went with McGonigal, Clark, and Garrett Pennington.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Colin went with Edward Valencia, which kind of didn't surprise me. Chris went with McGonigal, Valencia, and Briseño. So Joe went with McGonigal and Briseño. Ashley went McGonigal, Valencia, and Anderson. Anderson did not love in that category at all. I went with McGonigal, Anderson, and Valencia as my top 3 for the hitter. So McGonigal winning yet another award there. So without surprising nobody.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
go ahead, Chris.
I say, my votes were kind of right along. Just looking at WRC plus, right? Like McGonigal, 182 this
Yeah.
year, hit 305 with a 278 ISO, and a 15% walk rate. He's
Yeah.
good.
He's so good.
Valencia with a 158 WRC plus. I mean, talk about a season out of nowhere, right? And like,
Yeah.
25. He's not ancient. Just kind of
And he did miss.
crazy.
Yeah, he did miss some time, with injuries for 2 years. So I kind of kept that in the back of my, my head for him, not to give up on him.
And then, Briseño, like Pacheco could have been right there too. He had a 155 WRC plus. Briseño was 153, and I favored Briseño just because he was doing it at a higher level and playing a more difficult defensive position. Maybe that's not the way to do it, but I was like,
And younger. A little
yeah.
bit.
So, and I don't. They had a lot of good choices this year. You could have gone with Cruz, could have gone with Anderson. Pennington is a fun one. He had a 140 WRC plus. So
Yeah. A little older, but yeah, Pennington was pretty impressive and really pretty good for the Whitecaps in particular.
You know what impressed me too, as far as just a guy that that really when he was healthy, and Peyton Graham. I mean, I thought Peyton Graham this year it was just a matter of consistency, but Peyton Graham puts himself up if he can continue to do what he was doing in the middle of the season. I think if he gets off to a really good start in Double A, that's promising because for a while we didn't think much of him because of his wrist injuries. But I mean, credit to you, Brandon. You've been pretty consistent on saying when he's healthy, he can be an effective hitter.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who can play shortstop and has power, has above average raw and walks, like, you gotta hold some interest there. He just still is the dude who like sort of plays out of his shoes to me a little bit too much and like just needs to refine things. But yeah, after this season, he looks a lot more like a guy who maybe could be like a part-time outfielder eventually and maybe like pinch run, hit lefties, something along those lines. Maybe kind of be like a little bit more of a toolsy Andy Ibanez type player for someone somewhere eventually, but not a huge year. Like the two guys that we're not mentioning because they got hurt, obviously, are Bryce Rayner and then Trey Nierber.
on to you, yeah.
Yeah. So either one of those guys could have taken the title if they'd stayed healthy, but unfortunately they did not.
The could have award.
But yeah, that's could have been the best infielder. Of
Yeah. So as far as best starting pitcher goes, this was a closer vote. This was a really close vote. So Jerry went with Kelvis Salcedo. Colin went with Lucas Elliott. Chris went with Sears, Salcedo, and El Salt as his top 3. Joe went with Sears and Miller, which I thought was strange. I'll explain why in a second. Miller actually went with Miller, and I went with Sears, Salcedo, and I actually went with Hayden Minton because I thought Hayden Minton deserves some credit too for having a pretty solid season after figuring things out in Lakeland, going up to West Michigan. He started off a little slow in West Michigan, but those were my top 3. So, but Andrew Sears seems like he is the consensus, but barely. This was the one that seemed to have the most differentiating votes.
Yeah, I mean, if Salcedo came, just like had more innings and just pitched more, where people got to see him, maybe he would take that. I think I would favor Salcedo and then Sears and Elisalt for myself. But yeah, you could go some different. I mean, I guess I don't know exactly the rules. I mean, Troy Melton obviously makes the most sense in one sense because he finally did a lot of the things that we've been waiting for him to do over the past 2 seasons and started throwing. I mean, he's always thrown strikes, but he just started like using his stuff better, being more consistent. Still kind of needs the split to become a more consistent pitch for him to start next year, but kind of making it work anyway. And it was pretty effective against Seattle. So yeah, but he did graduate. So I think, or at least he's very close.
Yeah. He graduated early September, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he had certainly enough service time. I'm not sure about innings, but
Service time.
either way,
Yeah, go that way.
yeah.
He's in the bigs now. It's over.
Yeah, no, and he's looking like, I mean, he's going to be a key piece of the team going forward, so that's good. In my, you could come up with any methodology for this. I went with Sears, and partially because of the innings. I think he threw fifth most innings in the system. He climbed a level. He seemed to get better as the season went along, and he got better from last year. And it just felt like everything. He went from a kind of a not on any prospect list to arguably the best pitching prospect of the system. It's he doesn't have a tremendously high ceiling or whatever. And I tend to agree, Brandon. I think if Salcedo had been doing this all year, he'd be kind of running away with it. But 65, 70 innings or whatever compared to 111 and up to Double A. I went with Sears. Elisel had a great year. Salcedo had a good year. So
yeah. And and I don't know how you guys felt about Sears last year, but I mean, I just kind of thought he was a good lefty relief prospect.
Yes,
and, he really did kind of change my mind on that. I mean, I kind of feel the same way about Miller, but Sears I thought surpassed him as like lefty most likely to actually make starts at the major league level someday, despite the fact that this is the Tigers and they'll end up letting him throw 3 innings or something.
Yeah, no, and I thought based off the fact he was able to get in the zone more this year with everything, really helped out. Best reliever goes to Moises Rodriguez, and how the vote broke down with this. Jerry went with Rodriguez, Matt Sillinger, and Carlos
Liquida.
Chris went with Moises. Colin Fields, you wrote in, which I like. Like the fact he took in the advantage of the writing. And then Drew Summers, it was his top 3. Joe went with Rodriguez and Pettit. Ashley went with Pettit for hers, and I also went with Pettit, Rodriguez, and Sillinger. But because Moises Rodriguez got the most first place votes, he wins by 1 vote.
I will take Pettit, Rodriguez, and then I think I will take Marco Jimenez just because I just can't quite quit him, and he's like, I know you can kind of get torn out by like, okay, how much chance does this guy have at the major league level, and like. I mean, Comerica compared to Marco Jimenez, I think Marco Jimenez has a lot more to offer if he could kind of harness it. But but watching him down the stretch and pumping 99, I'm still like, that seems like the dude who might eventually piece it together. And Gouache is too old, so who else? I mean, he got traded, so he's not here. But Micah Ashman would have certainly been pretty high up on my list because Micah Ashman was a freaking beast for West Michigan for the first 4 months of the season.
So we too, Strong does count. Strong got some consideration for best outfielder. So just for that portion. So breakout player of the year. This is a no-brainer across the board, and it makes a lot of sense because this guy came out of nowhere and really hit with power. He ended up leading the minor league system in home runs, and I think I want to say he was top 3 in batting average too. Eduardo at Valencia, and he definitely maybe make the case for a 40-man roster spot. Maybe
I kind of think they should. Yeah,
I think you have to honestly. Like I mean, there's a chance that it's all a mirage and he's not really a hitter, but I don't know if you want to take that chance necessarily and lose him for nothing. And he can technically play catcher.
Yeah. Needs a lot of work, obviously, and maybe it's just out of his reach. But the Tigers don't have a lot of right-handed bats. I mean, it's pretty much Howie Lee and Max Anderson, and now Valencia in the upper part of the system where you could like see somebody working out, really. So I don't know. I tried to convince myself that he didn't have a chance and was going to fade, like Justice Bigby or various other guys who had hot years, and it was just kind of facing double and triple A pitching. But Valencia, like his numbers held up pretty well. He didn't really have like a glaring weakness to me. Looking through what he did against velocity, against breaking stuff and off speed, he's got vulnerabilities like everybody, but it was pretty impressive. So yeah, I could totally see that for breakout prospect of the year. And then I think you got to go Salcedo, for sure second.
Yeah, Chris, you had Anderson at as yours,
right,
and
that's fair.
by Peck.
Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of different guys who took giant steps forward this year. You see that often. We've talked a little bit about the guys who didn't, but yeah, I mean, Anderson was a guy that I thought was kind of bordering on non-prospect territory after last year. I mean, he was okay last year. It was a 108 WRC plus in West Michigan as a college hitter and with not a lot of power. And we've talked before about his he doesn't have a ton of secondary skills, so he needs to hit a ton. And then he did this year. He he put all that together, at least got up to AAA, and I thought it was a pretty good breakout for him. Basically, saved his prospect status. I still don't know what the ceiling is there.
Yeah.
And then Peck was a guy that was kind of off the radar, right? Like I liked a lot of what under the hood last year. He was hitting the ball hard. He was very fast, stole a lot of bases. Looks good on defense at multiple positions. He just hadn't put it all together. And he's still a very aggressive hitter, and he's going to get exploited at higher levels. But yeah, I mean, he did put it all together, got up to AA, and was a key member of that team.
For me, I put like it's thank you, we too appreciate it. It says you three are the best team for minor league coverage in baseball. We're blessed to have you. Thank you, we too. We appreciate the comment. Yeah,
That's
I
nice.
looked at things. But so my breakout was Valencia, but then followed by Trey Cruz because it was also like, well, I put Cruz in there because he got the AAA, he showed growth again, and as a potential major league player, whether it's going to be utility role, whatever role they have for him. But then my third guy, I should have been a little more louder about this. To me, was Peck. Peck is a guy who, I was talking to Jeff Pontus. He's a guy who swings at all, swings really hard a lot. But I thought he did a better job of playing in the infield than his precedent or the guy who replaced AA. Well, I'm drawing a blank out. Oh, Jim Jarvis. I thought he did a better job than Jarvis did. And Jarvis.
I wonder what happened to Jarvis.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys, but I just have to interject because they took Ashby out and Mizorowski is in, and I just clicked over to the game, and the first thing I saw was 103.7, and then 104, 104.2, 104.2.
How about that?
And Kyle Tucker grounded it out.
Well, yeah. Did he pull it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grounded out the
Lord.
first.
Major
My
league
eyes
hitter.
are watering. 104.
Oh, man, the way Vasquez is going, Mama better make some more of that moist cake.
103.4, 103.7, 104.3, 104.2. This is what happens when you,
I got all
Good Lord.
flushed. I looked at those numbers and was just like, wow, physical reaction to that. Holy crap.
Jarvis is in the fall league, so
Oh, that's fun. I totally missed that.
Oh, is
Jarvis.
it? Yeah,
Jarvis.
we missed that today too.
Yeah. So
The,
player of the year without fail was Kevin McGonigal, Valencia, and then Pacheco got some consideration. That was Chris's side of things. That was mine. Jerry went McGonigal, Clark, and Anderson. He went back with the back-to-back with that. And then the manager of the year award was the closest one of them all. So he had Tony Capicelli, Cap one across the board. Although Ashley did go with Andrew Graham, and I understand why, because in Brandon and I were talking about this earlier, he didn't have a lot of pitching. You could make the case for all of them. You could make a case for every single one of them because they were all. Gabe Alvarez managed his ass off in AAA, but Capicelli basically with two different squads, won 92 games. And it goes to me, it's just like barely.
Yeah, I there really is. Rivera was the manager of the year. I went with Capicelli and we've talked about this. Just to have such an historic season and do it while losing, a handful of your best players, like literally like half a dozen. When you talk Sears, McGonigal, Briseño, Clark, Peck, Stevenson, and other guys, I'm even forgetting Ashman was gone. So, just keep winning. And keep scoring double-digit runs with that team was crazy, and and they got the job done. They finished it off, right? They won in the championship, and Rivera won the championship too. You mentioned Alvarez; that's such a tough job, and then Andrew Graham.
Yeah.
That's not an easy job coming in after they won 2 straight titles and getting them to the championship again, and they were 1 game away. They just could not, couldn't get that key. We were there for that. They couldn't get that key big hit. Although Max Clark really gave it a ride, and that damn left fielder for Binghamton made a great jumping catch.
That was a great catch,
Yeah. I mean, Graham did have the advantage, obviously, having the big boys, but he didn't have that much pitching. Like once Melton was out of there, it was pretty much Andrew Sears and a bunch of guys in trench coats and stuff. So yeah, I mean, he did do a really good job. I think if they had won 3 straight, I might have been swayed a little bit, but that Whitecap season was just too crazy. Had to go Tony there. To go back to breakout prospect too, like I just want to remind people again about Fran Yerber
Yeah.
because he was kind of poking through, and honestly, Bryce Rayner was kind of the breakout prospect of the year, despite only playing for like a month, because I mean, people were putting 45 pluses on him, and like not that enthused, like somewhat enthused. Obviously, the
Right.
tools were there, but then as soon as you saw him and like what he was doing against good fastballs and the arm, the speed. It was pretty damn impressive. He just unfortunately
You know, it was
that damn diving back to first base. I don't want anybody diving back.
no, never again.
Just
And
run to second.
Or just get
watching-
picked off.
you know,
Yeah.
It's the
wa-
minors,
you know,
who cares?
watching
Why is that such a weird thing that keeps happening? Does everybody need to do like a lot more like plyometric planking exercises?
Well, watching Connor Griffin play in Altoona made me realize we were seeing Bryce Rayner do the same thing based off the same size, right? I mean, to me, it didn't occur to me until I was watching him live. I'm like, wait a minute, this kind of reminds me of what I saw with Bryce Rayner.
Yeah, just going oppo like 110 miles per hour repeatedly was just like what? So
Yeah, I mean that's Griffin is faster in a more aggressive base runner, but Rayner was stealing plenty, and he's faster than I expected.
yeah.
And
We'll see if he can avoid the waist bender tag because he's so tall and lanky. But he can work on his core strength and flexibility. That's fine.
Yeah, and then you just hope that the arm strength comes back, because that was a legitimate like 70, 80 grade arm, and that makes up for a lot of not that he has bad range or whatever, but like it gives you even more range, and you could start farther away and all that good stuff. And I mean, it's wild to me. I did not think the 2024 draft was all that special at the time.
And then,
I remember, we think of like, hey, it was a good group of like, a dozen guys or whatever. But then after that, it just disappeared. And just the number of like future star looking players that are already out of that draft. And then some of them have like, oh, what, you screwed that up. But, but like just Nick Kurtz is already, he's going to win Rookie of the Year. Savage just went absolutely bonkers. Chase Burns has ridiculous stuff. JJ Weatherholt's coming up soon. You got Rayner. You got Connor Griffin at 19 making a double-A. Cam Smith made it to the big leagues right away. Like there's so many good players out of that draft already. It's bonkers. So
we haven't even had to deal with freaking Bazana yet. So
no Bazana and Caglianone is who knows what's going to happen there. And he got to the big leagues pretty quickly, and then it was like whoops.
Yeah.
I honestly thought he would adjust quicker. Like I thought it was going to be something like what we saw with the A's, but
it's tough to be when you like he hits everything, or he can hit everything, but that's the problem is he swings at everything, and the big leaguers are like, all right, well, go ahead and swing at this, and so I don't. He's got to if he can get in the zone, he could be a monster too. It's just like you look at the picks, you're like, huh. Well, Charlie Condon didn't work out great, although he had a solid bounce back year. And then Hagen Smith, kind of Asa Lacying his way, although I think he also kind of figured out the second half. So just a monster kind of top 20.
Yeah.
Asa Lacy, man. I don't expect that. We too says, I just got a curiosity. If we have a couple prospects finally land in Detroit, does that bode badly for Verling?
I mean,
I think
possibly.
Veerling is boding badly for Veerling right now is more what it comes down to. But
he needs, it's been such a rough year for him. He hasn't been able to stay healthy at all. He was a quality player for this team last year. And that's one of the things is like, you look at this team right now, and had they had a full healthy Meadows, a full healthy Veerling, are they better? Than having that kind of like this monstrous first half from McKinstry and Baez, and then Winslow Perez showing up and doing his thing, but everybody kind of disappearing at multiple times. Like,
you also look at the depth of the bench right now, and AJ does not have anything to work with. You can't. There's really no use for Trey Sweeney there except as an emergency shortstop, and Andy Ibanez has done nothing all year. Plays a solid third base, but really has had a very bad year in a very specific role. I mean, there's just not much to work with there. So, I mean, you'd like to have Veerling, and it's not like Veerling's going to get knocked out next year, but Matt Veerling isn't that relevant. I think we'd all agree for the future. I mean, he's almost 30. He just finally established himself as something of a useful utility player last year. He's obviously down there. He's got the personality and seems to be kind of a leader. to this team, and a guy that's really well liked and really competitive, and he's got lots of tools. He just has never really, done enough to impact the baseball to make himself someone that that you sweat like what his future is or anything. He's kind of just there, unfortunately, right now. And maybe next year he'll change our minds and get back to being a productive player and establish himself a little bit. Like the Tigers could use a right-handed hitting outfielder, obviously. So yeah, so there's still a spot for him right now. Like Max Clark's not going to be up right away.
Yeah.
Fighting for a spot, I don't assume. So
And then you still have, I mean, if you're thinking about like Max Anderson and how you lead, they're all infielders. The Tigers don't have any outfielders right now at all above Double A that are going to be ready. I think they're going to have to go outside the organization for that. So if they do go to the outside of the organization, if Baez doesn't go back to center field, I think if whatever they decide to do, I think the next outfielder situation is going to be outside the organization because Campos a little bit. He regressed a little bit in Erie this year. But then I'm like thinking about it, like I'm drawing a blank on anybody else that's going to come up at all.
Yeah.
They could be even potentially at spring training.
I mean, maybe you can, you could start playing Lee there, to some degree, and he might be okay in a corner.
Yeah.
But there's not really a whole lot of options. That is probably something they need to look toward. I mean, we're kind of getting way ahead of ourselves. Like, I don't know. I assume Jahmai Jones is going to be back next year because he's been so good in a specific role. But it's kind of interesting too. Like you see, like there just isn't really an opportunity to get him in games against the Mariners. Like you'd like to have him face Spire, but he's going to get one at bat against a really really nasty lefty, and if he doesn't do something, now you're kind of in a weird way. So things have played out kind of oddly for him, in this series, and I don't really know how much more we'll see of him necessarily, but he's certainly gonna have a role next year. And yeah, I mean, I don't expect to see Kevin McGonigal starting at shortstop on March 29th or something. It's probably still going to be Javi for a while. And as you see in the postseason, Javi Baez is the fucking man. Sorry.
He is.
He's so frustrating. I mean, he's just an infuriating hitter without runners on base for whatever reason. Like he's kind of always been this dude. But I cannot convey like how much comfort I feel having Javi Baez in your infield in a postseason game, because it just feels like he's going to do something and he's not going to screw anything up. Like and it feels like no one else is going to screw anything up. The Tigers have been actually rock solid defensively in the postseason, and there's just, I don't know. He just does things. He does Javi things. So yeah, I assume he's going to be playing a lot of shortstop. I don't know how you guys feel about this. I don't have a whole lot of hope for Sweeney at this point, really at all, unfortunately. And he's just not good enough defensively there to really bother either. So I don't know. I think I might rather have Trey Cruz on the roster than Trey Sweeney next year. I don't know.
Trey Sweeney is a guy who needs a total swing change.
Yeah.
It's he can't hit fastballs. When he does hit the ball, he hits it into the ground. This is something that has been known since, I think, shortly after he was drafted. The Yankees couldn't do anything about it. The Dodgers couldn't do anything about it.
It's kind of a Chase Young situation, like without the walks. Like couldn't drive the good fastballs and needs to hit junk. So yeah, I'm not getting it.
Look, I'm all for keeping Baez at shortstop. And by the way, I forgot to mention this too.
But of course, Javi can't play every day either. I mean,
he can't.
He's gonna wear him down, but
no, he can't.
William Contreras, Homer.
The West Michigan Whitecaps were named minor league organization of the year,
as they damn well should be. Yeah.
It should be a no-brainer there.
But everybody in that organization, what a year.
Yeah, Sweeney's toast. I think Sweeney is a guy who's just going to be. He's going to be outside looking in. Either you got McGonigal or you slot him over at second. If you're not going to give, I think the Tigers are going to give a qualifying offer to Torres, and he's going to walk, and then they're just going to use that extra draft because then there's just like extra.
Man,
I hope he walks. I'm not 100%.
I don't think that. I'm not convinced they're going to give him a qualifying offer anymore. I thought, early in the season, I thought like, yeah, that's great, and Harris wants those draft picks, but I don't. I mean, if you're Torres, you're getting it's going to be like $22 million, right?
Yeah,
he's not going to get that on the open market. I
don't know what I could see him getting like two for 30, maybe. Yeah. But why wouldn't you just take the 22?
That was a nice play there.
So yeah, I think it's pretty dangerous to offer him. But again, like the Tiger, I mean, the Tigers can easily afford that. Like,
Yeah.
are they going to sign Alex Bregman this offseason? Probably not. So, I mean, if they want to have him on, but he's going to have to accept that he's not, going to play every day, and he's going to be in the mix like everybody else on this roster, other than Riley, really. So,
Yeah.
I don't know that he wants that. I don't know. It's hard to say because like you feel like Glaber had some role in like kind of settling down the middle infield and kind of teaching some of these guys to put together a gritty at bat and like there's someone for Javi to hang with, maybe who's more of his generation. I don't know, but you can't pay for that, so get him a
No,
counselor.
And I'll give
Get a
Torres.
therapist or something. I don't know.
One of the big things people were worried about heading into the season was like, oh, he's a butcher in the field. Look at all these errors. He really cleaned that up really well. Like I can't remember more than a handful of like, whoa, what are you doing, Torres?
Yeah, the range isn't very good, but he makes all of his plays, I think, for the most part. So
Yeah. So
I have seen Javi on on the right side of second base seemingly like 8 times in the last 3 or 4 games, though. Like if there's anything over there, he's cutting it off. So
yeah, it's funny. I was looking because I feel like Javi Baez, as you mentioned it, like he's one of the more clutch players, such as it is. Hey, Max Anderson with a single.
hey, all right.
But and I was looking at the players the least clutch players over the last decade, and the problem with this stat is that it really affects the best hitters who
Get
the
in
best
those
hitters in
spots.
baseball absolutely demolish pitching that isn't elite. And what happens is they get elite pitching in high leverage situations, and they don't hit it as well. They're
Yeah.
still monsters. So the least clutch player in baseball over the last 10 years is Aaron Judge.
Yep, that's what you'd expect.
Then it's Marcus Semien. Then it's Mike Trout. Then it's Carlos Correa.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, clutch is such a diabolical concept. I mean, that's the thing with Javi Baez. It's like, does he not? Is he the clutchest player of all time in big situations, or is he a really good player who's lazy and doesn't care that much when there's nothing on the line? I mean, you can paint that however you want to. I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are going to paint it as negatively as possible because they just
Sure.
there's just
Javi wears too many chains and
Yeah.
he's too flashy.
too flashy. He's not
Damn
no
Puerto Rican.
substance. Yeah, he's not as good as people say he is. And like, there's one particular person I can say that is it doesn't matter what happens, they always hit on Baez, and so it gets
that
tiresome
person.
after a while.
Yeah, that person sucks.
Yeah,
Well, life. Javi Baez makes life worth living. He's that kind of player. Like there just aren't that many people who can do these things. Like this is why we like Jose Iglesias, even though he was never, remotely the player that Javier Baez has been in his career. Because it's just beautiful baseball to see someone who can just do freakishly specific things, like tag that well, to make these acrobatic plays, and I mean, it's just fun to watch. And then our shortstop in the postseason is an all-star center fielder. I mean,
yeah.
as silly as that is, it's just funny to say it. So, but yeah, I mean, Javi is what he is. Like they signed him to be good in 22, 23, 24, and here we are, beyond that point, and they didn't need him when he was still younger and good. And so I'm not remotely hating on Javi Baez these days. Forget it.
I'm looking at so Baez is ranks 142 out of clutch, the most clutch hitters out of 500 something. 141 is Zach McKinstry.
Oh
Yeah,
that's not bad.
totally saw that coming though.
Yeah. Where's Riley? Where's Riley?
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I'll check. The number one, by the way, is Adam Frazier, like just by a mile, is the most clutch player over the last decade. Jorge Polanco, number 3.
Ooh,
Motherfucker!
damn that guy.
Yeah,
At least he hit homers, and it just wasn't some Twins hit. Fucking
Yeah. Riley Green is 267, right between Michael Massey and Rougned Odor.
Torkelson. Oh, okay.
Let's take a look at Torkelson. Yes,
this isn't a stat I ever look at people.
Torkelson is 420.
Oh,
Negative 17. And what about Carpenter?
He's only got 5 on it.
Carpenter is that's Matt Carpenter. Sorry.
Matt Carpenter. Yeah,
Matt Carpenter is 450. Kerry Carpenter is 496. These are out of 580.
Kerry Carpenter's 496.
Again, this is
This is why we don't look at clutch and develop.
No, it's
scouting reports.
it's not a skill. It's not something that's repeatable. It's just kind of interesting to look back at what happened.
Yeah, it's often just a mix of opportunities, and guys with less of them who came through a couple more times often are at the top of those lists. But
The math on the math on it is what shape, or I want to say exact math.
oh,
Yeah. Well, it all has to do with the win probability and so forth and so on and leverage. But yeah.
game state and such.
So game 3 is tomorrow, starting at 4:08, and then game 4 is at 3:08, I believe, on Wednesday.
Unless the Blue Jays sweep the Yankees, in which case the game gets moved to 7:08.
Yep. So we're hoping for a Blue Jays sweep as they head to the Bronx and to take care of the Yankees. Dodgers are up 2-0. And lastly, before we get out of here, the Brewers what's the score of that game right now? I was meant to check.
4-3.
Milwaukee.
Wilson Contreras, he hit a home run to put him up, a solo shot.
So the Brewers.
It's all been dingers there.
To go up 2 games.
Yeah, that's postseason baseball. Andrew Vaughn, Seiya Suzuki, Wilson Contreras, all with homers. Tigers, take note.
Yeah. Tigers have 2 home runs in the postseason.
Yeah,
2. Yeah. Yeah, you got
Carpenter and
Dingler
and Carey. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it.
So
Green is due.
hit more.
Torque due.
Green is very due.
Yeah,
Come on, Riley.
Yeah, get together. So check us. So no live stream during that tomorrow because either I'll be down there tomorrow, and then hopefully I'm hoping to get out of work early tomorrow to get down there, do a little bit of coverage, and then the same thing for game 4 as well. So that being said, if the Tigers take care of business, then they move on, and if not, then who knows what will happen next week. But next week, regardless, there'll be a show wrapping up everything as postseason baseball continues to mid-October. We'll see. I mean, if the Tigers have enough to get there and look, if they get to the LCS and get swept, I'd be perfectly fine with it. I mean, I know it sounds like
if they get through Seattle, I mean, this is a very successful season, no matter how the month of September went, and it was horrible. Yeah. Horrible. I've never seen our comment sections like that. I mean, I don't know how that I felt anything like that. I mean, it was ghastly to watch that go down.
Yeah, I've never there's always that doom and gloom segment of every fan base that somebody is just assuming all the bad things are going to happen and it's going to be the worst. And then it did happen.
Yep.
Like the 99.99% percentile failure happened, and it was stunning to watch, but it's over, and they exercised Cleveland, and 2 more wins. That's all you need right now. Figure out a way to win 2 of these next 3 games.
We too go put on like a beach house playlist or something and just lay back in bed and I
have to
vibes.
I had a big deal thing today at work, and it was like a lot of networking, and I didn't realize I haven't been in a big room like that in a long time where there's a lot of people you're going back and forth with. And I was talking Spanish too. So it was like English, Spanish.
Oh yeah. So that's all going pretty well so far. Yeah.
It's going really well.
Cool.
Look, a little bit of bragging there. Oh, I am at the beach. Well
then shut up. You got no problems, bro. The way it's been the last 2 weeks, I wish I was at the beach. I was like kind of squirming to okay, I'm going to cover baseball. I'm super locked into the playoffs, but at the same time, it's so nice in Michigan in October, and I just want to go play outside and get my kayak out.
Yeah, it is nice, but it's going to be down the fall weather soon enough, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm not gonna lie, I hate being
He's got to go to the mental beach then if you're not really there. Yeah. I'm sorry.
What is it, Chris?
Got the pool officially closed today, which is always it always takes longer and it's harder than I remembered, and it's a very first world problem.
Is this the latest in the year the pool has been open till?
Maybe. I think we've probably gone to mid-October before. This weather has been wild. We could have still been using it if I hadn't destroyed the heater and the pump.
The last 2 weeks have been the nicest 2 weeks of the whole year.
Yeah. But yeah, so and it's remarkably strenuous to just put this safety cover on, and it's weird how much I was done with it, and I was like, I'm gonna die. Call 911.
Call 911.
Yeah. But anyway,
you could put Harrison to work next year.
It would be nice, yeah. But got Gotta
You're
get
getting
him mowing the
close.
lawn
Yeah,
first.
getting close to where you can start giving him man
Yeah.
tasks to do and
That
raise
is
him up.
that is a good point there. Problematic about the rain tomorrow. It is supposed to rain. 85% chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, right? So
Yeah, and it's gonna be
I don't
cooler
know.
too. It's gonna be like 65, I think. Maybe less at game time. So yeah, it'll be a little different. Actually, that sounds very Seattle. They'll be very comfortable.
Yeah,
And no marine effect for
Oh yeah.
yeah. That was a whole thing. The marine effect. See, that's the thing that worries me. Seattle hit the crap out of the ball in Comerica Park.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got you're not going to face. I mean, Cleveland is probably the worst postseason team you're going to see for years. I guess the Reds were kind of bad too,
Yeah.
but you're going to face good teams in the postseason. You have to execute and you have to get lucky, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll see what happens, but we'll keep it posted. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for reading TigersMLReports.com, and check out all the great stuff over at Bless You Boys. And keep do me a favor, everybody, to go chat in Brandon's the Bless You Boys message boards. Don't be a dick, because we've had people on Discord now. We had people in the chat last night, Brandon. I'm not kidding. They were like, "Oh yeah, man, the Bless You Boys." They've been saying that the BYB chats have been just disturbing lately. So I didn't say it.
Oh, it's been bad. So no. Hey, you guys might just go over there now. It doesn't even matter. Like have a freaking day. I don't care. Just hit refresh a few times. Give me some page views. That way I won't spam you with like 5 different posts that could all be one post. So,
Yeah.
yeah. It's all good. This is what postseason baseball is all about. Just drive
Visceral, the visceral of
us insane
fandom.
and then send us into the off season
Yeah.
to root for the Lance.
Yeah. Everybody wants to hear us fight at this point. Keep it close, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good night.